Um, Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever, wherever you are in the part of the world. Today I'm going to talk about a thing that really gets close to real life, things that happen in Hong Kong. Now, in light of new things happening in Hong Kong, like, Ruby's scandal, well, not scandal, but it's been a controversy, and I think everyone knows this whole thing, this whole saga in Hong Kong, where she speaks in poor English, and she gets a lot of shit for it, and I do feel sorry for her now, because I don't think she was intending to do so much stuff in the first place. But anyways, that's not the main point. I already responded to the video in my earlier video blog. I mainly want to talk about what Hong Kong should do in the coming years. And me, as a teenager, I think there's a lot of future, a lot of hope for Hong Kong. But we need to fix a couple of things. And number one, obviously from the video, is the English level education. I think that, we should really, really focus a lot of time, effort, and resources into developing developing the new generation to have a better level of English. Now, I know that the education system in Hong Kong is quite imbalanced. Local schools in Hong Kong, some of them are very good in English. The famous schools, the ones with prestigious schools, the prestige stuff, they're really good in English. But there's a lot of schools, down the pecking order where they don't really get enough assistance, aid, in terms of, native speaking English teachers to teach them. And even if they do, half the time they aren't listening. They're not making English interesting. And most of the time, I've heard that even the English teachers themselves aren't really qualified. Their level of English isn't really good. So I think the education system needs a massive reform in the next 10, 15 years. And that, for me, is a big issue. It's probably number one issue for me because I'm going to university soon and I want to see these changes in Hong Kong education. Now, number two, the big two. I think most Hong Kong people would understand what I'm going to talk about next, and that's called constitutional reform. And in Cantonese, we have this thing called 五區公投, which is this kind of de facto referendum that's coming out, in the later this month. But anyway, I want to talk about constitutional reform because I really follow politics, and I'm interested in how Hong Kong would develop in the future in terms of constitutional reform. One thing is, I think there should be definitely a better and quicker schedule to democracy right now. Now, the HKSAR government, which is essentially a puppet of the PRC government, well, they're controlled by the China. We're part of China, so we can't deny that. But China has really, slowed down the progress of democratization. Sorry, I can't pronounce it right now, but I'm feeling a little tired. But anyways, they have slowed down the process of us, moving to the point of democracy. The funny thing with Hong Kong is we have everything except the elections. We have a free market economy. We have freedom of speech. There's plenty of civil liberties. You look at the basic law. We basically operate like a liberal democracy, except the elections. The people don't directly elect their leader, chief executive, which is the most worrying thing. It's been a heated topic for more than 10 years now, 12, 15 years, since 1980s actually, what would happen to the democracy, the so-called democracy in Hong Kong. So this is what I want to see in terms of Hong Kong constitutional reform. I want us to have a faster leap in democracy, and I also want the pan-democrats in Hong Kong, the party, the Civic Party, the League of Social Democrats, these parties to really make a stand, and also make a change in the system right now. Definitely slash and cut out the functional constituencies in the Legislative Council. That is nonsense. I think that's definitely not abiding to the principles of democracy and full representation. I think we should scrap that and just make maybe like 100 seats in the Leg all directly elected through geographical constituencies and such. So these are my views on politics. And on number three, big three, what do you guys think Hong Kong should change? Well, I think I'm pretty happy with most things in Hong Kong right now, but one of the things in Hong Kong which I'm still quite not happy about is the service in Hong Kong generally. We remember from a couple of years ago there was this famous commercial by Andy Lau which talked about 今時今日的服務態度係不可以接受 something like that. And that ad campaign would really try to boost Hong Kong's service and Hong Kong's just the style of service. And I think 10 years on, 12 years on, and whenever that was produced, I think there's still some parts of the area in Hong Kong, or some restaurants, or some shops, or some places we visit, they don't really provide the right customer service. And what I mean in the right customer service is these, let's say, sales assistants, with all due respect, some of them just, firstly, they don't sell their product well. Secondly, they don't really communicate well. And thirdly, there's some lack of respect for consumers, and they don't really think in consumers' shoes. Now it's a consumer's world. But this isn't a big problem. It's something we should mend, but we should pay attention to the services, and how we greet our tourists, how we look towards the sky and tell everyone Hong Kong is great. It's the best city I've been to. Now I've spent 18 years of my life in Hong Kong, and there's no way I'm leaving this place. I'm going to work here. I'm going to raise a family here. This is going to be my life in Hong Kong, and I really want it to change. As a teenager, I see a lot of things we can change. I might sound like a really idealistic, idealist person. Idealist. And I hope I don't come across as one, because I just have a lot of visions. Democracy, definitely. English, definitely. Services, definitely. And I also think, there's many more practical things. If you talk about pragmatism, there's much more things we can change. But these are the big ideals I want. And in the future, when I have the chance to have the platform to express these ideals, I definitely will. And tell me your thoughts. If you're a Hong Konger living here, whether you're an expat or whether you're just local Hong Kong, whatever, tell me, what do you feel? Do you agree with me? What do you think should be the direction for Hong Kong in the next 10 years? And if you're not from Hong Kong, come visit, or if you have visited, tell me how you feel about Hong Kong. I really like to know more people, like more foreigners, like their view on Hong Kong. So, I'll talk to you guys later. And, rate, comment, subscribe. Talk to me about it. See you guys.